Finally, Roger, I'd like to ask you about your work with the Teenage Cancer Trust. You mentioned that earlier. What inspired you to get involved, and how has being involved affected you over the years?
It inspired me. I was invited to join UNICEF, United Nations,
Mhm.
and I looked at it and I thought, I don't really want to do this. I don't travel well, and it would mean a lot of traveling. I do enough with the band.
Mm.
Uh, I've also, got some. I don't know. I just wanted to find something that inspired me more than that. UNICEF has so many ambassadors
Mhm.
from the arts.
Yeah.
Me being there or not wouldn't have made much difference. Um, so I wanted to find something more unique that I could really get inspired by. And the idea of changing the way adolescents and young adults were treated within the hospital system at that time, this was 30 years ago, a light bulb went on in my head because I suddenly realized it threw me back to my 11-year-old years, my 11, 12, 13-year-old years, where I was struggling with who I am. The 15, 16, 17, that whole teenage period was such a difficult time in my life. And I thought, what would that have been like, having been told that I had cancer and I might not survive it? At a time when a spot on your nose is a really big issue. You can't go out for a week. This is, and I thought, what must it be like for them? Because in those days, all that time ago, and even in America up to 12 years ago, 8 years ago, if a teenager was 13 years old, he could end up next to a 2-year-old. Or even if he's 18 years old, he could end up in a bed next to a 2-year-old and never see another teenager all the time he was going through his treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And the treatments are, quite severe. So I thought, what a great idea is to have environments where this group are in age-appropriate care, where they can be together, they can help each other, they can talk to each other. Their mental health is going to be that much better because they've got contact with their own age group. And so a light bulb went on 30 years ago because my doctor started a charity, and I'm just passionate about it. And then I saw that America was in the same situation as the UK. Your system again was, you still had the old split of pediatric, adult, and I met youngsters who were, one 15-year-old girl down from Georgia came to see me with a brain tumor, and I stayed friends with her, and she woke up in a bed next to a 2-year-old, and at the bottom of her bed was a clown with a blooming ukulele. I mean, could you imagine? I think she was 16 when she had her op. I mean, you can just imagine what that would do to your brain, and all you want to be is around your age. So I've got it started in America, and I've got to say, America has proved really interesting because the hospitals, which I thought were going to be difficult to get to understand what we're trying to do here, because it does mean a bit of reorganizing, and it means a lot of goodwill and support. The hospitals in America have been fantastic. We've already got 43 programs going in hospitals around America. We've been going 8 years. But the fundraising from corporates and things like that, it's been extremely difficult, and I'm puzzled by that.
Oh, really?
Well, with teenagers with cancer, there's not enormous numbers of them, but there is enough. And I've got to tell you, in the last 10 years, their numbers have risen 30%, which is kind of
alarming. Yeah,
it is alarming. But there's something, I don't know. Teenagers, you put a child on a publicity thing for cancer, people will throw money at you. They carry
a young child.
Yeah, a young child. They carry I call it the Bambi effect. They got the eyes, and they make people feel sorry for them. For some reason or the other, people don't tend to feel sorry for teenagers. I don't know why. It's the only thing I can put it down to. So that bit of it's been difficult, and it kind of puzzles me because there's a huge opportunity here. In my opinion, the medical world is, especially the research world, because this age group, adolescents, young adults, the 13 to 26-year-olds, they have been so neglected in the research when it comes to cancer. It's almost criminal. You can't, because cancer research is so overfunded. It's got so much money going into it, yet very little research is done on that age group. And their excuse for that is, oh, there's not enough of them. Hang about, there's quite a few thousand. I mean, it's about 70,000 a year or something. That's quite a lot. That's quite a lot, you know.
Yeah.
And especially if it's one of your kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And I just feel that we're at a time in history where the medical profession and the hospital system is really missing an opportunity to recognise that we used to be in a world where it was pediatric adult. People used to go to school and then they went out to work, and you were a child and then you were an adult. Since the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, well, where we are now, you cannot deny that the 13s to 26-year-olds, they're almost like an alien race. They are so different, not only in the way they, you know, they act together, the way they communicate together. Their whole lives are so different. But their physiology is so different. Yeah. You know, a pediatric oncologist, when he's faced with a 14-year-old, 6'4" boy with a beard, you know, he goes, well, that's what happens today. And no one's noticed. You never would have got that 50 years ago, but you get it quite a lot today. Yeah. And it's kind of scary. But and so the pediatric guy goes, well, do I treat this one as an adult or I don't know. There's not very little research done in it. So there's a huge opportunity being missed here.
Well, you're certainly doing your part, and you're bringing a lot of attention.
I think it's time, and it is the right time in medical history, that just as it was the right time in 1802 to kind of change the system to have children and adult wards. You know, the first children's hospital, 1802. We're at a time now that the first adolescent, young adult wing of the hospital for any hospitalized illness for that age group needs to be founded. We just need to do that. We need to recognize that the mental stability and the mental wellness of the patient is going to have an enormous effect on any kind of treatment you're giving them for serious illness.
Your work in that area is very much appreciated and commendable as well.